How's it going, Renegades? It's Coach Pat, and today we're going to take a look at Erik. He's a member of the Renegade Rowing Club. He's in the pink shirt here. Erik rode with us in the quad on the water this year, and he has gradually been improving his form. He's a very strong guy. He's got over 400 pounds on his deadlift, so you put him on the erg here, give him some technique, and he can create some power. Things I'm going to ask Erik to improve this week, watch one more time, is just his catch timing and finding suspension a little bit quicker and smoother at the catch. Number two is going to be keeping his footboards connected to the erg, keeping his feet connected to the footboards through the finish. And then we're just gonna pick those two. If we can make those two changes this week, Erik will be looking pretty solid. Things I like about Erik's stroke, to watch one more time, he's got very level hands, so his handle height is not really changing up or down very much. It's on one straight line from the catch to the finish and back. He's sitting nice and tall without overextending his back. He's just stacked and solid. Nothing really changes through his spine. And he's just always in a strong position. He makes sure by half slide he gets his body over, his arms are extended, and he's ready for the catch by the time he passes through half slide. So he's doing a very good job of preparing his body for the next stroke, which is awesome. So the two things that I want to focus on with Erik, one happens at the catch and one happens at the finish. So let's look at the catch first. If we find his catch here, so right here is where his catch is. We'll draw a circle. I want you guys to watch his forearm and his elbow. And we'll play it at full speed first. And right when he changes direction and tries to pick up the tension on the chain and connect to the flywheel, he's doing it ever so slightly with his elbow and with his forearm. You can kind of see his forearm tense up a little bit there as he takes the catch. What I'd like to see is him maybe preload that a little bit just before he gets to the catch. So apply a little pressure with the pinkies, try and add some external rotation to his handle and to his arms so that he's almost imagining he's snapping the handle in half. And by doing that before he gets to the catch, he's going to engage his lats. He's going to sort of lock his arms into that extended position so he can find the tension on the chain with his legs and his hips and save a little bit more power and speed with those arms and those hands for later on in the stroke when he can really apply it and get that handle moving. So let's watch one more time at half speed. You'll notice it a little bit better at half speed. There's a little sort of shake or jerk right at the catch there in his elbow and the chain and in his handle. And what I look for a lot is at the catch, are you able to time the catch and pick up smooth tension on that chain? It's hard to do because the erg, the way it's designed, has a little bit of play right as you try and pick up the speed of the flywheel at the catch. There's a little disconnect there, so you have to kind of figure out how to do that. But if you can make it smooth and try and find it with the legs and the hips, you should be able to accelerate that handle faster through the middle of the drive and towards the end of the stroke when you have a strong finish. So that's what I'm going to ask Erik to improve there, is just make sure he adds a little external rotation to the handle through his pinkies and make sure his arms are straight and legs or lats are engaged so that when he picks up the tension on the chain, he's doing it with the hips and not with those elbows and adding any more tension to those arms than is needed. That way you can save it for later in the stroke. So let's bring him back to the finish now. Now if he indeed does make that change, he's going to be able to accelerate that handle a lot quicker through the finish. And in order to get that power, that he's putting into the finish with those quicker hands, we need to make sure he's connected to the footboards, because if he's not connected to the footboards all the way through the finish, that power and energy that he's putting out towards the end of the stroke is just going to kind of go out into space. So you can't see it very well because there's an erg in the way, but I'm going to draw a circle around his toes. He's wearing black shoes. You can just see the tips of his toes. Let me draw a better circle, it'll be tighter. Right there. All right, so there's the tip of his left toe. We're going to watch that and see what happens as he comes through the finish. So he's pushing. He'll actually lose connection to the footboards. Like he's driving through the heels right now, which is very good. And he keeps that connection through the heels all the way through, which is great. But if we can get him connected through his full foot and through his toes, so right about here, his toes come off, and he's falling backwards. So he's really not very connected to the erg right now. His balance is falling backwards. I'd rather have him be more balanced and more connected to the footboards all the way through so that he can get more power into that handle and accelerate those hands through even quicker. So right about here, so on the drive, his knees are almost down, his body is opened, he's starting to break those elbows, all very good sequencing and timing. But if at this point he were to point his toes and keep his foot fully connected to the footboard from here back to the finish, he'd be able to engage his quads more, his legs more, and he would get more power and more speed on that handle through the finish, and really just send that boat nicely. So that's what I'm going to ask him to do. Let's watch it at half speed. So his knees are almost down right here. He needs to be pointing his toes. And if he can do that, he'll be a little more balanced. He'll not waste as much energy trying to pull himself up out of the finish, and he'll be able to swing through a lot easier, just a lot smoother, which will be nice on the water come the spring. So those are the two things we're going to ask Erik to focus on. Let's watch again, full speed. At the catch, we want to make sure he's finding that suspension and becoming right on his feet with the hips and not with the elbows, making smooth tension up here, not adding any extra tension to those arms or any extra jerk into the system. And then through the finish, staying connected to the footboards, getting all that power into the handle, and just sending that boat even further and faster. So hopefully that helped you guys out. Erik, keep hitting it hard. Great to have you. And we'll see you this week in training. All right, have a great day. Bye.